I saw this story about Will and Jada. So Will has a new special out on Apple TV Plus. It's an interview
Hmm.
with Oprah about his new book that he has coming out, just detailing his life. And like one of the things that he said in there is that when him and Jada first met, this is what he quoted and said, they drank and had sex multiple times every day for 4 months straight. I was
Oh,
like, "Oh, that is a lot." Okay, 4 months straight, you had sex multiple times a day every day. That's probably why they made it this far.
wait, that's all he said?
No, no, that was one of the main things that made people go, "Oh
Oh,
my gosh, I gotta watch this interview with him and
oh,
Oprah." But then one of the things he also said was, um, he said, "I started to wonder if this was a competition about, as much as they were having sex, and I guess she loves sex as much as him." He put, either way, as far as I was concerned, there were only two possibilities. One, I was going to satisfy this woman sexually, or two, I was going to die trying. That is a
oh,
lot of work.
Get Rich or Die Trying. See, I was watching Tasha K live, and she said that he had said he got sent to like a therapy in a sense because he wasn't pleasing her sexually. So he had to go to some like 2017 maybe or 2019. He had to go to some sort of sex therapist, or don't quote me exactly. This is just what she said, because he wasn't satisfying Jada. So I mean, I don't know. That beginning, what you said at the beginning, I feel like that's for everybody who starts off dating. Well, I
Four
won't say
months
everybody,
straight,
but
multiple times a day. That's how you and
I
Terrell was,
feel like
girl.
well, in the beginning when we first got
Well, I mean,
married,
I will say that there's always way more sex
yeah,
at the beginning. I will say that. But for four, you know how many days that is, girl? That's 120 days you having sex multiple times a day
I feel
for
like we would do it
120
like at
days.
least twice a week.
Okay, well, yeah, I get that. But when he said the multiple, I was like, wait, what? How many times? Three, four times a
Yeah, this
day?
is like a new
120 days?
relationship type of thing. I feel like it's like a
It is.
new relationship situation. But then on the other side, literally, I was watching this last night, and she said like he couldn't please her anymore. And didn't she just say on Red Table Talk? Did she quote something on Red Table Talk about
What's your
him not being able to satisfy her, or she's had to work through it in her marriage of like letting him know what he needs to be
Yeah, yeah.
doing,
She
or
was talking to. She
yeah.
was having Red Table Talk with Gwyneth Paltrow. And she was like, "It's a fantasy to think that your partner knows how to please you sexually. Like it's not basically like, especially at the beginning, she was just kind of like." That's something you have to work at because a lot of people don't like talking about sex, especially with their partner. Because you love them, you don't want their feelings to be hurt, you don't know how they're gonna take it. So it's like, especially after a while, after y'all been having sex for a while, how do you be like, hey,
Yeah.
yeah, that especially to a man who has a fragile ego. Men have way more fragile egos than women. Miss Mia, what's
Yeah.
up? Sounds like he needs Blue Chew.
Wait, what is Blue Chew? I don't.
Girl, it's like the generic Viagra.
But then she also said Tasha live last night. Tasha Mac. Why did I say Tasha Mac? First of all, I'm waiting for the game to come on. That's why I said Tasha Mac. Tasha live. She was saying Tasha K. She was saying that Jada had to go to like get like vagina rejuvenation as well because she wasn't being pleased.
I mean, there's women that once you have a baby, kids come through there. Your
Yeah, she did
equipment,
have babies, right?
yeah, your equipment ain't never really 100% the same. So
Yeah.
maybe it was hanging loose. Seems like she put that thing to work. So she probably did need to get a little snip, snip, tight, tight.
I mean, if anyone watches Tasha K live, I think she really just don't like Jada. So everything is like pro Will, anti Jada. So I'm coming in from just only hearing her perspective of this conversation.
I don't think. I
Um,
mean, I just think it takes, if anything, first of all, I applaud them for putting their life out in public, right? Because
oh,
they have aired a lot of their dirty laundry. But the thing about it is, for somebody who's been married for that long, which is what, how long they've been married now?
I
20
don't know,
years?
like my whole life.
25 years, something like that, basically. 25, that's a long time. People don't be
Long time.
making it that long. And
Yeah.
usually people who make it that long have just as much drama. We just don't know about it, right? They're just not famous.
Yeah.
They don't talk about it in public. So I applaud them for telling, like, hey, sex been rough for us, okay? Not pleased. He's not pleasing me. You know, we've heard for
Well,
years that they've had.
do you think that's why she was like, "Oh, you stay on this side of the house, I'm gonna stay on this side of the house," and then she had her little encounter with her
I think maybe, you know,
young
maybe,
man.
maybe
I
you
don't know.
after a while, I don't know. I think I've never been with somebody for 25 years, but I'm assuming sometimes you might get bored. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, you know, Will said they have really good conversation, which is why I really think that is what has made them stay together, because they're really good communicators and they talk about a lot of stuff. But,
Yeah.
you know, it's for them. He said, you know, sex is a hard thing to talk about. And for us, it was always about like being honest and being truthful. That is like, I have to applaud that. Even if look at Icy
Sorry,
Mo.
I'm reading the comments. Should I
What did
say
I just walk it out on? Should I take my man bags and leave? No, Icy Mo. We talking about men too. We talking about Will. We're talking about Jada. We want to know y'all's thoughts. But it's a long time. So for them to still be together, knowing, because here, if you watch that Red Table Talk where they were talking about the August Alsina thing, you saw Jada's face. She was like, I wasn't the only one. Like, basically insinuating that Will had also had his dalliances as well.
Yeah.
Just they weren't, you know, in public about it, because whoever that third person was didn't bring it up like August Alsina did.
Right. And we have to understand too, like, they're in Hollywood as well.
Yeah.
So we have to take everything with, you know, a grain of salt in some situations. I think that they have been painted as the perfect family, you know, throughout our culture, you know, but you know, as they start to unravel things and people get surprised, but like you said, the things like this happen in normal relationships. People cheat on each other, people have side babies, kids don't like their mamas and daddies. Like it's kind of normal. But I think that we just hold them to this higher expectation because they've been painted as this. And Will Smith is like the iconic black man,
Yeah.
like traditional whole situation. So they're
Yeah.
in Hollywood as well.
Yeah, and you're like, wow, he has a black wife, which, you know, in
Right.
Hollywood is not the norm. It's a black man with a black wife. They've been together this long. Like, oh, it's so awesome. And now things are coming out. Oh, they have somewhat of an open relationship. But for that kind of means like, you know, I feel like when he explained it, it was like, we're together. Like, we're always going to be together, period. Our goal is to be together. However, if that means we got to kind of, you know, have sex with other people sometimes, okay, as long as we're always together. And
Did he
like,
say that?
no, I'm paraphrasing, but like for him,
Okay.
when he said that, like because clearly they've both done sexual things with other
Nice.
people and they're still
Yeah.
together. So
Yeah.
and they've both talked about it. So I think it was just like, okay, you do your thing, I do my thing. Let's just make sure when we do our thing, we're clear with those people what it is. Let's make sure they understand we're not leaving each other for them. This is
Yeah.
just a physical thing. But August Alsina caught the feelings, okay? That's what happened. Jada put it on him. She got that strong badge. That's how she got Will Smith, okay? That badge be hooking him. And now he was catching feelings. And that's the part that got messed up. You wasn't supposed to catch the feelings.
You wasn't supposed to catch the feelings. That's crazy. I mean, but you know, we can't put our own foot in our mouth. We're both in relationships, marriages, and, you know, we don't know what's to come.
We don't.
Well,
I don't know. I don't think I'm strong enough to be like, yes, let's still be together, but like have sex with other people.
No, yeah, no, I would definitely never be that strong enough. Oh,
I'm because I'm emotional. I'm too emotional. Like I would be August Alsina every single time. Okay.
And
no, I'm not.
Men are jealous. Like
yes.
I couldn't even imagine Terrell being what? I can't even say the words. I can't even say
right.
I can't even say the words. We would have to get a divorce.
Seriously, I couldn't do that. I don't have that level of whatever they have, which is like that level of understanding.
Is it higher consciousness? I don't know.
No, that ain't higher consciousness. That's just different lifestyle. Okay.
Yeah, that is
I think they've made a decision, which is like we're married and we're gonna stay married, but we're gonna have our own little lives, whatever we got to do. And that's part of them living on different sides of the house, whatever the little compound looks like, whatever, like
Yeah.
but they're
We
still
should
together.
definitely have one of when we do our podcast, we should definitely have a sex therapist come on to enlighten us about these topics and things. Or did we have one? Oh,
We did, but we didn't talk about like alternative relationships.
well, I
Like,
meant more so like growing relationships, being married for X amount of time, like more of like the emotional state and the physical state. And because I have
yeah,
read books about,
yeah.
women and being a goddess and a sexual being and things you should be doing and this and that. But I'm just curious from a psychological and physical point of view of a long-term relationships when it comes to the intimate part of it,
Oh
But
yeah, that'd be
okay,
good.
men need sex all the time.
I know, but you look at Will and Jada, it look like Jada need the sex. Not he didn't need it as much as her.
That's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy, but dang.
Dang, girl, do your
Yeah.
thing,
All right.
honey.
I know. Yeah. Okay.
Do
Whatever.
your thing. I don't know what you got, girl, but you got something because this man is still here. But like I think I just applaud their transparency, especially with Red Table Talk. I just feel like we got to see the view about them, and we always thought their kids were weird, but I was like, oh, Willow's actually pretty cool. I thought they were weird. Like,
What's Jada? Did Jaden get emancipated?
he did when he was like 15. And then I saw something, Will was like super heartbroken about it. But it's like, when you love your kids, and I guess he had a good reasoning for it. And so it was just kind of like, okay.
I need to look into that. Not look into I was just curious. I keep hearing that. I didn't know that. I had no clue that he got Tasha K said it. So like, oh really? I didn't know that.
It said, let me see, hold on. I just pulled something up. It says Will said his heart was shattered when Jaden asked to become an emancipated minor at the age of 15. And okay. And then he said, oh, and what was worse was that Jaden took the hit. Fans and the press were absolutely vicious, they said, and painted things about Jaden, and I refuse to repeat. Jaden had faithfully done everything that I instructed him to do, and I had coached him into the worst public mauling he'd ever experienced. His son felt betrayed and misled by him, adding he lost his trust in my leadership. At 15 years old, when Jaden asked about being emancipated, my heart shattered. And he ultimately decided against it, but it sucks to feel you've hurt your kids. Oh, so I guess.
What did he do?
Oh, maybe he didn't do it then. Yeah, so maybe he was starting the process, and his dad kind of like gave into it. But then I do remember everybody talking so bad about it. Remember, like, oh my gosh, this little spoiled entitled brat. How dare you try to become?
Well, what did he do? What did his dad do?
I don't know. I think he kind of like instructed him on how to do it, and also like he didn't think that the press and the public would have that much of a negative backlash. But think about it. They're like the ideal Black family, and they're famous. So when you shatter people's view of you, you're going to receive some like definitely some, hatred for that. But he wasn't thinking about that as a father. He was just like, this is what my son wants to do. Okay, instead of being like, bro, they about to tear you to shreds, don't do it.
I guess my question was why he wanted to do it, not how it happened.
He didn't say why.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming any 15-year-old wants to be emancipated because you feel like I want to do things on my own, and I feel like you're not letting me. And so here's my reasoning. He probably came to his dad like I feel like they're very mature kids. So he probably had good reasons, and like, it made sense. So his dad was reluctant to be like, okay.
I remember there was a story about like the Karate Kid and how his dad pushed him super hard, and he was like crying and all
that. Probably
stuff.
was part of it. That's probably, like as a kid, you're like, I don't need this. And of course, these Hollywood kids learned about freaking emancipation. And just being a Hollywood kid, you probably go to school, all these little rich white kids, private school, and they probably told you about emancipating, and you were like, I'm gonna be emancipated from my father and my mother.
Well, more power to Will Smith. I'm sure his book will be the bestseller.
Yes, his book Will is coming out, his memoir of his life.
I'm pretty sure there'll be more stories we will talk about as it unravels.
Yes.